That worked. Probably we're live.
I put my headphones on to hear you say that, and I was like, I'm here. It's fine.
Oh gosh, that's fantastic. And I hit the button just as I was saying that too, because I was like, it's time. Where is he? Oh, that was beautifully timed. Well done, sir. So you got your coffee, I got my tea.
Yep.
And you are changing your hat, sir, right?
I am currently, okay. Yes.
Okay, he's in the process of adjusting. Sorry, I can't get over that. That was beautiful.
It's like, oh my God, I actually summoned him. That was really weird.
Oh, shit. Wow, good. Great. I hope you missed everything else that preceded that. Just kidding. So, ladies and gentlemen, technically we're late, but we're also on time. So we wanted to move it back a half an hour due to Polly's IRL shenanigans going on. He's got shenanigans that keep him until a little bit after 7. So we thought, hey, let's push it back until that obligation is no longer an obligation so that we can enjoy each other's company.
Indeed.
Yes. So technically Polly's on time, but we are both still late. But not really. So it's not a big deal.
What is this? Windows Photo Viewer cannot display this picture because there might not be enough memory available on your computer. Close some programs that you aren't using to free some hard drive space. If it's almost full, then try again. See, I got 48 motherfucking gigabytes of RAM. What the fuck you mean there ain't enough room? There's enough room.
Wait, did it say storage or memory?
Close some programs if you to free some hard disk space.
Yeah, so that would be storage. So you have too much shit on your hard drives.
Denied.
Sorry, that's not how that works.
Okay. All right. Miss Fussy Britches. Look, hold on. I just pulled it up. Used space, 100 gigabytes. Free space, 578 gigabytes.
I have no answers for you then. Sorry, you're on your own.
Windows be fucking around.
Apparently. What's up with that? Disk drive space. Like total, that's your disk space? Or is it on one disk? Do you have multiple disk drives? Like, because I have the M2 and then the SATA connector.
Let's check out what's going on with the M2 actually. That I have Windows on. I might have overloaded it. Yeah, no, it's fine.
No.
At some point, I'm going to have to, in the unfortunate situation I'm in with Tron Vodka here, I do not have additional M2 slots available.
Well, I only have one on mine, so I have to
Same here. Choose wisely. Yeah. So there's a really nice M2 NVMe that, well, see, I said that wrong. I've only got one additional NVMe slot, not an M2 slot. M2's form factor. NVMe is how it attaches. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm learning things. So yeah, I got to make I got to make wise choices. And Hammer generously put a very, very nice drive in there, but it is not the largest drive ever. So if I want to put a larger NVMe in there, that means I'm starting from scratch, reinstall Windows, reinstall blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Because the main one is the one with all of the stuff on it.
Yeah. But there is an additional, because I had a 750 gigabyte HDD drive that was just floating around. It was from an old laptop, plenty of SATA slots. So I just slipped that bad boy in there. And
well, there you go then. Yeah. You got it.
Hey, you want to see a hilarious picture?
Yes, always. Duh.
Gil Cotto posted this over in my server.
Sure. You mean a server that I have basic bitch permissions in?
What do you mean?
I mean, wait, which server is it? Because you have a few that I'm part of.
Well, I'm the only one who has permissions to do it. I thought I gave everyone okay, see, there's a funny story behind this. I thought I gave everybody permissions to do everything, and I thought it was some kind of like, see, I've obviously invited the right people here because no one fucks around. Like nothing stupid happens, nobody gets timed out, nobody gets kicked out, server muted, whatever, right? Yeah. And then I came to realize that no, I had given nobody permissions to do nothing. That's why nobody was fucking around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
is
I
this
mean,
the back room or
but I'm saying you shouldn't feel singled out. Ain't nobody got permissions to do shit. So
oh gee, thanks.
Well, there we go. Gilcotto posted this picture the other day. Entitles it Polly Encounters the Uncanny Valley.
I can see it.
Look at this poor guy. Look at this poor guy. He's like, really confused. He's like, wait a minute.
It looks real enough, but just not real enough.
Yeah. The wheels are turning in here. You know what I mean?
What's going on? The otters are becoming aware. Dead.
That's how I feel watching CGI films. It's like, nah, man. I get what it's supposed to be, but nah. You know, it's...
See, that's why I prefer practical effects, because you don't get that, what the fuck am I looking at nonsense, or it looks just real enough but not quite. Because with the practical effects, they hold up. They hold up really well. They don't look janky in 2 years when CGI improves again. You know? Jurassic Park, for instance, one of the greatest movies using practical effects I did ever see. And it holds up. Like, those dinosaurs, they Gucci gang.
It is actually still extremely impressive how well Jurassic Park holds the fuck up, because it really, really does. It's the first shot when they look out to see the dinosaurs for the first time still really, really, really fucking works. It's pretty goddamn impressive. Yeah.
It definitely gives you that sense of wonderment of, oh my God, I'm seeing something that's been dead for several billion years or so. Mm-hmm. Is it billion or is it million?
Long time.
Long. Dinosaur dead long time.
It was good the way they played it out too, that Laura Dern is, because she's the paleobotanist, and she's looking at this plant leaf and is going, this species hasn't existed for so long, and he reaches down and grabs the top of her head and turns it to the left, like, quit looking at the leaf, lady, look over there.
The leaf not important right now. All right, we have dino, big dino.
But that part in and of itself is actually quite confusing, because it's okay, so we get these insects in amber.
Yes.
That suck the blood of a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. Where did they get the plant life from?
Where did they get the plant life?
Well,
and I'm not trying to nitpick. It's just like, what? The
plant life breaks down a lot more readily than not plant life. Correct? I mean, like, I'm not a biologist. Yeah, that would be the term that I'm gonna go. I am not intimately familiar with the capabilities of decomposition in plants versus animal life. So I don't know if this is true or not, but I would assume that plant life is more prone to breaking down more quickly than animal life, just because of what I've experienced scientifically with my own fridge.
I am certainly no paleontologist, but to the limited understanding that I have of how fossilization works, plant, animal, none of it would matter. It's all been replaced with rock. That is the essence of what's going on with. I mean, that is literally a rock now. It's just a rock in a certain shape. Mm-hmm. You know, so therefore, you know, oh, well, you got this insect stuck in amber. So you've discovered this piece of amber.
A rock.
That has not fossilized from that long ago. Is that a thing? That was the question that I walked away with, without some, you know, no burning desire to know. How long can amber last and not become fossilized, thus just become a chunk of rock?
Did you ever look it up?
I didn't. Like I said, I didn't have
Does
that burning yen of knowledge for that. I was just kind of like, I'm enjoying the dying people in the and Dr. Malcolm, whatever his name was.
Oh, so sorry, you were talking about Dr. Malcolm. That's what's his face?
Oh, Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he's so fucking fun in that movie.
He is. I don't even. Why was he there in the first place? I don't think I ever quite understood.
It was nonsensical.
Was.
He was a chaos theorist. Like, okay, yeah, and you're doing what there, guy?
He's just there to be there because science. That's it.
They explain it not well, but they do explain it. Like, it's just okay. We're bringing two paleontologists to examine the findings to see, and the lawyer was there, and it was all about whether or not the investors were going to pull out. So to give a third party independent analysis, they bring in, well, they brought the paleontologist, and then his wife came along because spousal hire. Well, I guess they had ancient plants too. So yeah, no, they brought them along because they were foremost in their field. And what's the guy's name who founded Jurassic Park? The old guy.
Oh gosh.
Richard Burton. No, that's not his name. Richard Albridge. No, that's not his name. Richard. Whatever. The guy with the cane.
Hang on. I'll ask him. I'll ask the number one fan of Jurassic Park. Babe. Who's the old guy from Jurassic Park? What was his name in the movie?
Wasn't it Hammond?
John Hammond.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was Hammond.
I think so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're talking about Jurassic Park.
Well done. So Hammond had been funding their paleontological English research for years.
There you go. You got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had been funding their research for years. So, of course, he tapped them, not exactly independent analysis. If you come to my island, I will fund your research for the next 5 years. Sounds like a bribe.
It sounds a little bit more like extortion.
Yeah, and it's like, are you not? Do you not have a strong financial incentive to agree with whatever this guy wants you to agree with? But whatever. That's why Dr. Malcolm was there. He was the lawyers bring along.
Gotcha.
Because he was a highly critical guy that was a scientist, a chaos theorist in mathematics.
And then they brought him back for the follow-up movies too.
Because he had run from dinosaurs before in a very sexy, interesting, fun, enjoyable way.
Yeah. Well, so it's not just the follow-up movies, but the sequel trilogy, or the sequel? Yes, the sequel, not the prequel. The sequel trilogy as well. Was it a trilogy though? Whatever. They brought him back in the sequels at least a few times, and he was probably just about as useful in that movie as he was in the original. Because all he did was just stand there and wax poetic to the courts about dinosaurs again.
Yeah.
And provide nothing else of substance, really.
I mean, he was there to deliver the lines as only Jeff Goldblum can.
Exactly. You think that character was written for Jeff? Because I'm of that opinion.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, like, it's like, oh, Jeff Goldblum's in it? Okay, cool, I'm there. Like, I just want to hear him deliver lines as only he can. You know,
Life finds a way.
Yeah, exactly. It will break through violently. Sometimes you just your scientists were too focused on whether or not they could.
They never stopped, guys.
They should.
I wish I could quote it better, but yes, we all know. We've seen it. I'd be wrong, says Daily Murphy. How am I wrong? What did Jeff Goldblum do? I don't remember the follow-up movies to Jeff Goldblum's original being in the first movie, so all that well. So, like, I'm just talking about the first movie and then the one that he premiered in the sequel. So I'm pretty sure it was only the one.
There were some pretty good jokes being cracked at Jeff Goldblum's expense. over in Eve's server the other day. They're like, have you ever noticed that Jeff Goldblum like appears in all of the sequels? And it's like, but nobody else but him. It's like they're doing a sequel and they just didn't tell Jeff that no one was coming but him. And I'm like, that's so mean, but it does keep happening. I think it comes down to is Jeff Goldblum is not a leading man in the Hollywood sense of the term, and he's a working actor. If you look at his filmography, it's ridiculous. Like the guy, he's like Samuel L. Jackson. He'll be there. Like he's interested in doing lots. He's a working actor, man. That guy takes like 2 weeks a year off. He's just always doing something. So
yeah,
he's not the kind of A-list celebrity that's made, I got to very carefully choose with a whole heap of multi-million dollars worth of public publicity in and around the new movie that I'm thinking about doing, blah, blah, blah. The guy's just picking movies and showing up and doing his job is what it looks like.
That's fair. So apparently Ian Malcolm was already in the books pre-movie, says Dave Lee Murphy. So, okay, I'll give him a pass on that. But I'm pretty sure the sequels are not based on books, right?
I don't actually know.
If they were, I'd be very surprised because I think everyone else was very surprised by the sequels that we got. But like, Dr. Ian Malcolm was a big selling point for the promotionals for the sequels, the first sequel at the very least, when it was coming out. If you remember the promotions for that. Like there's an entire Mueller video dedicated to the Jurassic World franchise, at least the first movie, and he makes a point of making the point that, hey guys, they totally abused this character and barely used him in the entire film, in terms of, or not abused, used this character for the promotionals without actually capitalizing on that in the film. There we go. I said that right.
All right.
Ooh, that's good tea. What are you drinking tonight, Polydub?
Iced coffee sweetened with a little molasses.
Ooh, you put molasses in your coffee. I'm going to have to try that.
Just a touch.
Just a
for
touch.
A tablespoon for a pot.
A tablespoon for a pot? Ooh. So does the molasses come out in the flavor of the coffee or...
Well, my original, what was I watching? Somebody mentioned back in the day that like the big drink of choice, by the time, like the evolution from like tea to coffee to whatever in the world, like in terms of consumption. Yeah. And they're talking, it was an American, documentary, so there's a lot of American material in it, and they're mentioning that during the Civil War that coffee was on the move, and then when it wasn't available, chicory was drank, or a mixture of coffee and chicory to bulk up what coffee there was available, reusing grounds and stuff like that. It's like, but both in the North and the South, coffee was their drink of choice. They would chew the grounds when there was no time or water to boil it.
Wow.
Usually sweetened with either sugar or molasses. And I went, hey, I like molasses. I like the flavor of it.
Yeah. They're my favorite cookie, actually.
Really? Cool.
Molasses cookies
are very good. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
My
especially when they're chewy and soft. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. My grandmother used to make the best molasses cookies with like this sugar, confectionate sugar and milk glaze over top. And it was like, my favorite memories from my childhood were of sneaking down into the basement to go into the bowl of cookie dough in the fridge that was slowly cooling and just putting fingers in there and just eating the raw cookie dough before anyone else could get any. And then, eating the cookies afterwards too. But yeah, they were delicious. So you have molasses in your cookies. Or cookies. Coffee. There we go. We got them.
Because I stopped and I thought about it. What would be... when I thought molasses, and I'm like, well, I like dark roast coffee. I think the dark bitterness as well as sweetness that molasses comes across with would work really well. I drink my hot coffee just black. But when it came to iced coffee, I thought about it and I thought, I think this would work really well. And it does. Here's the best way to say it. It's not a strong, overpowering taste because I'm only putting a tablespoon and a half in a full pot. But when you drink it without it in there, it's like, oh, wow, that actually was adding something. Like when it's, do you know what I mean? It's not really apparent when you add it in, but when you take it away, holy shit, do you notice it's missing?
So when you like make a pot of coffee, is it 12 cups to brew and then what's the ratio to grounds, or is it not 12 cups, or what do you do?
I'd have to look up the size of French press that I use.
Okay.
And I would have to either weigh or measure out with my measuring spoons the scoop that I use. It's 7.5 scoops. Now, what the fuck's a scoop? I don't know. I'll get back to you. I will use a measuring spoon and level it off and find out how many, because it's a particular measurement. You can tell it's probably like 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. Okay.
No, more than
you
that.
Drink
the
one
scoop.
of those every day, or you prep it for several days?
Well, that's the bitch of iced coffee, the prep, because you brew it hot and then you got a while before it's,
Cold.
Yeah, you just can't pour it over the rocks. You're just going to end up with really watery coffee.
Exactly.
So what I end up doing is making coffee in advance, sticking that motherfucker in the freezer for 2 hours because I'm impatient. And yeah. And then when I have my foresight about me, I brew a pot of coffee the day before, French press, and then just stick the French press into the fridge. Okay. And then the next day I'm like, cool, good to go. And I can tell you a hint that I figured out. Never try pouring molasses into anything cold and expecting it to dissolve. That's just stupid. That's obviously
that's probably why you put the molasses in the grounds. Is that what you said? Or you
put it in while the coffee's still hot and it'll dissolve, but you're still better off. Take a coffee mug, right? Pour off the amount of molasses that you want, meaning open your container of molasses and wait 5 minutes for it to start pouring. And then and then you get your tablespoon and a half in the bottom of the coffee pot.
Yeah.
Pour some coffee off into it, stick it in the microwave, whether it's cold or hot or whatever, it won't make a difference, right? For like 30 seconds, and that's almost boiling because it's just a small amount of coffee. And then stir it up, dump that whole thing into your pot of coffee, whether it be hot or cold, and then stir. There you go, dissolved.
Okay.
Cooking tips from Polly.
I am a big fan because I'm always looking for new ways to drink my coffee. Because you got to mix it up every once in a while, see what's up. Right now, the current way that I do coffee is I take my Dunkin' Donuts grounds, my pre-ground Dunkin' Donut grounds, which actually I didn't realize that I liked Dunkin' Donuts until that was the kind of coffee that I bought from the store. Because it's what I grabbed. And I was like, this actually doesn't taste that bad. And I enjoyed it. So that's what I've been buying on the regular now.
Okay.
So put the coffee grounds, a quarter scoop into the strainer, and then about 6 to 8 cups of water in the reservoir, because I have a coffee dispenser, in the classical sense, not the French press that you have. And then preset it to the next day at like 4 a.m. so that it can dispense itself. And that's about it. And then I pour it into my mug, add the oat milk and the honey, and that's my coffee.
Nice.
Yeah. Honey is really good in coffee, I must say. I like it better than sugar.
Never done that. Interesting. So yeah, so give the molasses a shot.
I'll have to try that.
And upon doing it, because when I started looking into molasses as an ingredient into mushroom ketchup, when I was making that out of my colonial cookbooks.
Mushroom ketchup.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to revisit this topic in a minute, but continue.
Okay. I discovered because I go to the grocery store to buy some molasses, and I look up and I'm like, fancy molasses, golden molasses, blackstrap molasses, cooking molasses. And I'm like,
cooking?
Yeah. And so it's like, all right, DuckDuckGo. Let's find out. I pull up my smartphone and I start reading, and I discovered the different, the first pass, the second pass, like you will with like olive oil. There's virgin fresh press or cold press olive oil. The first pressing is going to be a better, higher quality oil, and you could press those olives again, and you will get a bunch of olive oil out of it, but it's not going to be as thick. It won't taste as good, and you're going to be pulling a lot of chunkers from the olives because now you're pressing them again, so you're going to have to filter it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's like in bulk cooking olive oil, as opposed to something you would want to like drizzle on top of something and really get the olive oil flavor, you know.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing with molasses. The first pass is your golden molasses, and it's almost like a really, really dark honey. It's the sweetest, but has the least molasses-like flavor. It's more like a corn syrup with a molasses flavor, if that makes sense. The most flavorful, but the least sweet, is blackstrap. Cooking molasses is an equal combination of golden and blackstrap for sweetness plus flavor. Oh. So there you go, Weebo. You can kind of make your decision. I bought blackstrap because I wanted the most flavor, because that's what I was going for.
Yeah.
For this purpose here and for the mushroom ketchup, I wanted to bring through that molasses bitterness, and it worked.
You know, interesting fact about molasses and sugar is, yes, molasses is basically like a sugar, but that's what they add to brown sugar to make it brown.
Mm-hmm. I thought, no, hold on. I thought brown sugar was just unrefined white sugar.
No. Brown sugar is white sugar with molasses in it.
Really?
I'm like nearly certain about that. What? Brown sugar, brown. Are you talking about raw sugar?
Maybe I am.
Yep, molasses. Okay, so there's raw sugar, which does have like a brown consistency, but it's not brown sugar in the traditional sense. Then there's refined white sugar, which is the sugar that you're familiar with as white sugar. And then there's brown sugar, which is when you've taken the refined white sugar and added molasses to it. And yes, okay. I was right about that. The brown sugar can give a rich caramel flavor to sweeten so many foods, and it sits in your pantry next to the canister of white granulated sugar. You may wonder, what makes brown sugar brown? Molasses is the answer. While the process of whitening sugar creates molasses, it is processed further to remove it. Brown sugar, on the other hand, begins as white sugar, but then has molasses added back into it. Although raw sugar also contains hues of brown color, it's not the soft, moist texture feel that brown sugar provides. Raw sugar, also labeled natural or turbinado, is white sugar that doesn't go through the removal process and therefore still contains some molasses from the original refining process.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
There's the gangster otter.
Yay! I wanted to go back and address.
We're doing cops and robbers.
We are. There was something. Someone wanted to know what the theme was, and the theme is cops and robbers. So I'm the copper, he's the robber. This was decided upon moments before we went live. So that's the theme. I'm drinking tea. He's drinking coffee, even though he's supposed to go to sleep at a reasonable time tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, coffee's not going to affect that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Actually, fun fact. You know how you said you like light roast? Or no, you like dark roast, right?
I do like dark roast, yeah.
It's your favorite? It also has the least amount of caffeine before decaf coffee in terms of caffeine content.
Yeah, that I'm aware of, and it is a price I'm willing to pay. As I'm aware, dark roast, the roasting process does eliminate caffeine. The darker you make it, the less caffeine it has. Yep, definitely. But it's a price I'm willing to pay for big flavor.
Yeah. And the thing that makes it darker, of course, is, how much they're processed by fire. Because they're literally roasted.
How long it's roasted.
Yeah. So the lightest bean, the green coffee bean, is not roasted at all. After that, you get to the light roast, and it is the least roasted, then medium roast, then dark roast, then decaf. So literally they are roasting the caffeine out of the bean. You okay? He's dying slowly.
See, I used to think that espresso was made with dark roast, and then I came to find out not true. It's actually most commonly made with a medium roast. And then this is where shit starts getting really technical. What kind of roast is it? Is it a light roast? Is it city roast? A full city roast? Or you take it past the first or second crack, which is an interest. You know about the cracks?
The cracks.
Yeah, it's so you know the giant
right?
the giant tumbler roaster
Yeah.
that they've got it in, so you know it doesn't burn at any one spot. It's always moving. When it's in that giant roaster when it's been in there for a certain while and it's past the point of medium and it's about to become a full city, you will hear the bean start to crack, and that's the oil moving from the inside to the outside of the bean. And if you notice, medium roast beans are not shiny on the outside, but then you know you get that real slick, wonderful oil coating on the outside of dark roast and darker medium roast. That crack is the sound of the oil moving to the outside and actually literally cracking the bean. And so you hear crack. It's like a quiet little popcorn popping. And then if you keep roasting it, you will get the second crack. And when you've passed the point of second crack, you're truly into dark roast territory.
Once you've passed the point of second crack. There's first crack, and then there's the all too important second crack. And after that, you can't go back.
Yeah. That's what Brando says, the oil is important. It is when you if you're into your coffee, right? And you get really nice, recently roasted beans, they're oily, and you pour them into your grinder and you grind it out. And you know your preferred amount, and you let it sit. Your French press, you let it sit. Do a slow pour off the top to let those oils slip off the top that have risen to the top of the pot of French press. That is the best cup of coffee right there, because it's you did it right. You waited for it. You took the patient route. You did it French press. You waited for everything to settle out, the little sediments that'll settle out even from a French press. And you slow poured the oil off the top. And oh my God, that is the premier. That's coffee nirvana right there.
So Old Man Enfield makes this comment. So what you're saying is that real coffee drinkers are crack addicts. Is that what you're saying, Polly?
Yes, basically, yes. Yeah. I mean, there's parallels, man. Let's not pretend that there isn't.
Well, it is a stimulus after all.
Yeah, and there's an addiction. Let's just.
Oh gosh, I don't have nearly the same side effects as I used to, but back in the day when I drank coffee, like way more than I do now, like by several cups in a day, and now it's just the one tumbler in the morning, and then the rest of my day is nada. Back in the day, if I went until noon the next day without drinking coffee, I'd start to get a headache, a withdrawal headache from the lack of caffeine. And I didn't realize what it was until I made the connection one day. I was like, oh gosh, I feel like shit right now, and I haven't had my coffee yet, so I'm going to drink my coffee. And then all of a sudden I felt better. I'm like, hang on, wait a second. So I tested the theory out a few more times, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm an addict to caffeine. So I weaned myself off of it. I think I went a week between my next cups because I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And I dealt with a headache. And then I guess I reset my body a little bit. And then I eased off of the amount of caffeine I was intaking on the daily.
It's funny, like I can, I usually start my day with a coffee. But there's days where that just doesn't end up happening.
Mm-hmm.
For one reason or another. And it can be a good while before I eventually get a coffee, but I don't actually feel the withdrawal of it, like the headaches and the jitteriness and the stuff, like well into the next day. There's been days where I've gone without coffee or an energy drink or whatever. Yeah. And I only noticed it well into the second day where it's like, yeah, I'm starting to, God, what is with this headache? And you can take Tylenol to make it go away. And then it occurs to you, it's like, man, just have a small, you don't even need much. You know what I mean?
No,
like
just a little bit.
Yeah. And that's enough to be that your body's like, Normal operating procedure.
If I have too much caffeine, I start to get the jitters. So I have to maintain a nice balance, or I used to have to maintain a nice balance between too much and too little, because if I didn't have any, I'd get a headache. If I had too much, I'd start to like shake.
Yeah,
because I had so much energy. I was like, oh God. And no, that was not what stunted my growth. Drinking coffee as a small child is not the reason that I am 5'2". I'm 5'2" because I'm 5'2", and that's that. Okay.
I remember. So I don't like George Clooney.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that. Like, I was surprised.
I was like, what does that mean? You love George Clooney, or you're being ironic because you damn well know I don't like George Clooney? I was like, I didn't know what happened there.
I reacted like that because I was like, yeah, this sounds about right. Let me be sarcastic about it. And then I thought about it and I was like, yes, actually, that was on point, because I remember the reaction you had to George Clooney and crew for all of the Ocean's movies, the remakes.
Yeah, you ain't no Frank Sinatra, my friend. I know you think you are, but you ain't no Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I definitely got that impression when we were talking about it, that you didn't like Clooney.
I mean, you know what? It's like, I can watch Clooney movies, and I don't actually think he's a particularly bad actor.
No.
I don't think this is ever going to happen, but I think it's the kind of situation where a director needs to rein him in. There's people that overact, and it's so it would be nice if a director said, Clooney, stop bobbing your head. Okay. You're going to give someone a fucking vertigo seizure. Stop it. And then it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? As his head's bobbing while he's talking, saying, what do you mean? Like, watch any Clooney movie and watch his head just bob around while he's talking. It's like, stop that. That's not an affectation. It's not a style. It's just you being an asshole and no director being willing to tell you to just fucking stop it. It's not charming. It's just, and dog shit politics. Serpent 21 says, you're fucking right. That's the worst part. It's like, I said that to a friend the other day. I was talking about Spy Game, an underrated movie, if you haven't seen it, by the way, with Robert Redford and a young Brad Pitt. And I said, oh God, Robert Redford, hate his politics, but fuck, what a great actor. It's just, you do your best to separate the art and the artist. I don't know. Like,
so I went and I found a clip of George Clooney bobbling his head.
Really?
I was curious.
This is a thing. Look at him go. Look at him go. Fucking bobble-headed bastard. I love that someone made this. I like it. Look at him go. Just hold your head still, George. I
think this is some people express with their hands. George Clooney expresses with his neck.
I am all for head movements and gestures and so forth, but like, it's so like look, it's constant. Just, you are not a fucking plastic figurine on a dashboard, George. You're not a Funko
wow, now
Pop.
I can't unsee it. Oh.
I'm all for people doing different things. It's just, you do it constantly, and that's what it's like this video says, when trying to be charming, when trying to be serious, when trying to make a point, when trying to be dramatic.
Maybe he has a neck injury. You don't know.
An awkward silence. Yes. Serpent 21. Now I can't not see it. And good. I hate to do it to you, but good. It's
Gilgado says, you know what you must do. Use a camera stabilizing tool on his head and watch the scene jump around his head staying still. How does he bob as Batman? In that suit? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he has the strength of neck muscles from years of practice that he can actually overcome the bat suit.
What?
He bobbles yours. Everyone's head must bobble. Yes. love this
This is the
video
thing.
so much.
I looked
Everyone
it
should
up,
see
not
this.
expecting to find anything, but what I found, oh boy.
That was really well done. Well done.
Hey, let go of the cord, please, dear. So Valentine is very playful. I don't know if you know this, but like she's super playful, and she's super playful with all of the most inconvenient things that you could possibly think of. Chiefly, any cords that I have, my charger, my headphones, anything.
Nice.
Hi.
Everything is a mouse's tail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that she has that disposition, because I would be bored if otherwise.
I clipped out a scene. Speaking of what got me thinking about all of this. Okay, well, if you go back, Pear to Bear did a symbol of the raised eyebrow of confusion with the little bit between the pointer finger and thumb emoji, and it reminded me of the scene from Ocean's 11, the remake, of course, where Clooney sits down at the table with what's her name? Her name is Tess in the film. What's the actress's name?
Julia Roberts?
Yeah, Julia Roberts. He sits down at the table with Julia Roberts, and this is the first time he's seen her since getting out of prison. And this is his ex-wife, now divorced, whatever. And a waiter walks by off camera, and he says, "Can I get a whiskey? A little whiskey?" And he does that thumb and forefinger thing. And I find it so angering, so unspeakably upsetting that he did this, because this is supposed to be him doing his Frank Sinatra super charm swinger suave thing, okay? And you fail, George. You fail. Could be you are.
She grabbed my boob. She clawed at my boob. Stop eating things. Stop molesting my tits. Ow. Especially live. There's time and place for that. God damn it.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be. If you go back, you watch the original Ocean's 11, where Danny Ocean encounters his ex-wife, same kind of thing. He is eminently Frank Sinatra charming with her, because he just does the Frank Sinatra thing, right? And she plays off of it so well. It just works. And they tried to kind of recreate the charm of that scene with the banter between them, how hard she is on him justifiably, and how hard he's working to re-ingratiate himself and apologize without being sniveling about it. Okay, yeah, and that whole scene is a fucking outright disastrous failure, because he's such a good. Can I get a whiskey? Just a little whiskey, with his head bobbing like a motherfucker, of course, and he did the little thumb and forefinger thing. And let me tell you why that upsets me.
Please.
Any waitress worth their salt, any server rather worth their salt, working in Las motherfucking Vegas at a super high-end restaurant, casino, hotel, is going to look at you with complete bafflement. You want a whiskey? A little whiskey? We have a library of 800 options from just Scotland. Which one do you want? Do you want a bourbon? Do you want a scotch? If you were to say to a server, bring me a really nice bourbon, I don't know which. Like, you're leaving it to the server, in which case the server, if they're knowledgeable, will make a nice choice for you, or they'll go ask the bartender, who will make a nice choice for you. Yeah, that's totally a thing. He just says whiskey. So basically anything that was related to barley or corn that was distilled and ended up in a barrel for a while. Oh, thanks for the specificity, fucking George. And a little bit, what is that, a single, a double? Do you want it neat? Do you want it on the rocks? What the fuck? If
I may.
Go ahead.
This will take away from your point only slightly, but as a bartender, formally, technically, I haven't worked a shift in like 6 months, but as a bartender, there is such a thing as well or house alcohol. As
you can get
this
the rail
is the
whiskey
stuff that we generically serve when someone asks for just whiskey or just bourbon or just vodka. This is the generic stuff.
Do you think he wanted Famous Grouse?
No, of course not.
Do you think he wanted Jim Beam? No, he didn't.
Is that a George Clooney fuck up, or is that the writers?
Even if the line is a whiskey, a little whiskey, I'm going to go ahead and blame George.
Okay.
Directed by Steven Soderbergh. I'm just going to go ahead and blame George. Okay, not that Soderbergh's some masterful director, but I think he's just like, George, man, just be you. If there's anything that is consistent about those three films, is George Clooney and Brad Pitt are not reined in enough by the director. They are constantly overacting to the point where, in my opinion, it pulls you out of the movie. That's not to say that they're not fun movies to watch. They actually are. They're 1 and 3 are particularly fun. 2 is the worst of the lot. They are fun, but the moments where you get George Clooney and I keep wanting to call him Sean Penn suddenly. What's his name? I've already forgotten. Brad Pitt.
Yep.
On screen together, doing their back and forth, super cool, hyper slick meta bants. It's too much. It's like, guys, you're at about 11. Okay, yeah, this is supposed to be a fun, over the top film. Like we should be working at about an 8 here. Do you want to just like, you are right next door to turning to the camera and winking and literally saying, "Did y'all get that one? Ha ha, we's funny."
That's my favorite way to ruin a joke. Get it? After explaining the joke.
See, and I mean, Brando's saying it, and other people, as well, as saying it's like, you're getting like rail whiskey, house whiskey, slot whiskey, lots of different names for it. Just, the stuff that's got the pouring spout already in it. Sometimes the 1 ounce measuring pouring spout for your mixed drinks, because you ain't going to taste it anyway.
Yeah.
You ask for, a rye and ginger. So they're pouring you whatever rye that they got. And because with a whole bunch of ginger ale, you ain't tasting it. Not really. So that's fine. Is that what you wanted, George? You wanted 2 ounces of house scotch, I guess? Or was it bourbon you wanted? No, it's still nobody knows. Maybe he wanted rye. No one knows what he wanted. Whiskey, just a little whiskey. You fucking.
If that was anyone else, would you be that outraged?
No. He made it way worse. Definitely.
Okay. All right.
Definitely adding, because it's the. Thank you, and then turns back with the smile and the it's just head just going a mile a minute, like it.
I don't even think I could replicate what it is that he does with his head. Not nearly as well as the person that he replicated it on that we saw. The bobbling of other people's heads. That was pretty funny. You got stuck there, honey? You stuck?
And I think one of the critical things that was missing from Ocean's 11 is, I realize movies aren't like this anymore, so it would have to be done in it's just cat vision. Ow! Stop it. She doesn't quite know how to release.
She never learned how to do that. So she does that. Like, she frequently gets her claws stuck in things. It's cute, but it's also very inconvenient. Sorry, continue. You were complaining about the whiskey again?
No, I don't believe I was, but I also forget what I was complaining about.
Sorry, cat distract. Now she's settled on my lap. The cat knows what the viewers want. Hey now. Hey. I know. That's why we keep her buttoned up. We'll save it for the OnlyFans that will never come.
Okay.
So, did you ever get around to seeing, was it Ocean's 8? The one with all females?
Half of it, yes.
Okay.
And I fully intended to go back and watch the second half, but never did. And it wasn't it was just out of there was nothing there to leave any kind of impression such that I remembered to go back and watch the second half. It was just this is all very predictable and boring. They had, I get it. That is the concept of an Ocean's movies. They're heist films, and you're putting together a crew of fuck.
She just yeeted a pencil off my desk.
That was just a pencil?
That was just a pencil.
Did you have a solid lead oversized pencil supporting 5 other items on your desk? That was loud as hell.
She grabbed the pencil off the desk and then like she scared herself and bumped her head into my rolling keyboard thing.
Ah.
So yeah. And now she's crawling on the desk. Okay, so you didn't feel that inclined to go back and watch it because it was just generic in the sense that, hey, we've done this before. Several times, in fact. It's a remake of a remake, in fact, and very formulaic. But not because it was bad in the sense that, you know, it was just a bad movie, right? Or did you have a different opinion on the quality of the movie itself?
No, I thought that the script was very 1, 2, 3 formulaic, and it what was I totally forgot my train of thought. What did you think of it?
I didn't hate it. I thought, how do I phrase this? I didn't hate it. It was a fun movie, and it didn't really give me the whole feminist vibe impression that the promotional material was giving off and the hype around the movie was giving off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think most of the outrage was just about the promotional material. The movie was fine. The movie was perfectly average in delivery. I think I did like it more than some of the remake Oceans movies. Being perfectly candid. But it didn't, there wasn't a whole feminist arc like we were thought, and like we were led to believe there would be by the promotional material. And so I didn't find myself getting super outraged over it at the end of it. I went into it expecting to be, you know, fake vomiting every 5 seconds because of a Bechdel test reference. And that wasn't the case, which I'm pretty happy about because, well, I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that I watched that movie with went into it thinking it was going to be some feminist arc. And we're glad that it wasn't. And I think the reason why it wasn't as successful as it could have been, because it definitely had the ability to be a better movie than it was, to get more delivery, to be more memorable than it was, I think, was because people saw the promotional material, thought one thing of it, and as a result, it turned a lot of people off of watching the movie itself. And that was the pivotal mistake that that the directors and the producers made with the movie, was giving it that angle. Because it controversy sells. Well, it does when we get to YouTube drama and YouTube shenanigans, but not really for a movie. I don't think. People realize it didn't have bobbleheads in it, a bobblehead in it. How can you have an Oceans movie without that? Well, we did. And I didn't hate it. Granted, I didn't hate any of the other movies. I did think that the original was a little bit long to Polly's chagrin. He judged me harshly for my opinion on the very first, like the Frankie Sinatra version of Oceans. What I did like about it, though, was at the end that none of them got the money. Spoiler alert. By the way, in case you ever decide to watch it, no one got any money. I like that juxtaposition, because the rest of all of the Oceans follow-ups, they always get what they want out of the situation. And it becomes predictable. Polly?
Yes. I'm here. I'm listening.
Did that make sense? You were very quiet, so I was like, am I boring, Polly?
Nope, I'm listening.
Well, I'm done with what I was going to say about that. I have nothing else to add. in that line of conversation. What are you clicking on over there?
Excuse me?
What are you clicking on over there on your side of the world?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hear no clicking.
I hear clicking.
You ain't
Chad,
hear no. You ain't hear no
definitely
clicking.
I have an article that I saved that I need to find. Give me a sec. I know I have it. I just don't know where I put it. Not that one. Where did I put the article? Not that one. Oh. Polly, you want to talk about the Manhattan District Attorney and his truly radical pro-crime ideals?
Pro-crime ideals?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll find
you know what I'm upset by?
A lot of things, but I'm sure you'll tell me specifically.
Well, that was insulting. Okay, so pro-crime.
No. Let's move on. I'm glad that you have opinions.
No, it's fine. Let's move on. Let's by all means, with pro-crime.
What are you upset by, Polly? Come on.
Well, most recently, what you just said.
I'm sorry. Are you really upset by that? Or are you just making me feel really bad? For the comedy
we all know you're soulless. You feel bad.
Hey, I'm only very slightly ginger. Thank you very much.
Manhattan's likely new district attorney has some truly radical pro-crime ideas. Okay. Was this to lessen policing? This should be interesting.
We shall find out. Alan Bragg.
White spite?
Where are you seeing that? I haven't gotten anywhere yet.
Today's cover off to the right. Giant block lettering. White spite.
White spite. City principal conspired to oust Caucasian teachers. Oh boy. We'll get back to that, I guess.
Is that white spite or just plain old racism? Like white spite makes it sound like white people being spiteful, like literally.
I don't know.
I think anybody would take it that way, but it was to oust Caucasian teachers. That sounds like just plain old fucking racism. But all right, maybe that's just me.
We'll find out. We'll get back to it.
Okay.
So Alvin Bragg appears to have won the Democratic primary election for Manhattan District Attorney, making him the presumptive new leader of one of the most powerful prosecutor's offices in the nation. Amid surging violence in Gotham. Wait, that's an actual place? What?
Yeah, it's news to me.
I'm sorry, what? This is not real. This is not real. Is it? What? What? Okay, hang on. Pause. New York. Now I need to know. We're going to find out where this Gotham is. There's a Gorham, New York. That doesn't help.
Gorham.
There's a Gotham Walk. There's a Gotham City Billiards Club, Gotham Avenue, Gotham Comedy Club, Gotham Gymnastics, but no actual Gotham. What? Okay. Amid surging violence in Gotham, Manhattanites should be hoping that Bragg takes crime seriously. Although his biography is impressive, his proposals give reason to worry. Raised in Harlem in the 1980s, Bragg remembers the extreme violence that once plagued the city, with shootings and homicides a part of daily life. His father kept a gun in the house to protect the family. Bragg also saw the efforts that forged New York's Renaissance. With the strong work of the NYPD, supported by Mayors Rudy Giuliani and Michael Bloomberg, Bragg is no millennial, raised... Okay.
Yeah, da-da-da-da-da is right. What is this?
I don't care.
Biographic hagiography? Let's move the fuck on. Let's get to it.
But a closer look at Bragg's proposals tempers optimism that he wants the Manhattan DA's office to emulate the prosecutor's office in Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and San Francisco should alarm the NYPD and law-abiding citizens. These are precisely the offices inviting violence and disorder in their cities, a veritable murder's row of prosecutors encouraging murder. I didn't know that about Chicago, but well, I know Chicago is the murder capital of the
Well,
world,
yeah.
basically.
Well, no, those are several places in South America actually, and Mexico. But I hear your point. Like you have dozens and dozens of murders every week, and the mayor spends all of her time talking about white bigotry, and it's like your city is rife with political corruption, rife with, and it has been since the days of Capone.
Not just the city.
Chicago is fucking famous for it. And every single weekend, you have literally dozens of young black men shooting other young black men and catching all kinds of people in the crossfire. And because of statistical analysis, don't count as mass shootings because they're, quote, gang related. And still, that bug-eyed fucking weirdo mayor spends all of her time talking about, we need to fight bigotry and racism. Really? Seems like you have more pressing matters afoot. But I guess not, because nobody from the media has the nerve, balls, guts, moxie, spine, or dignity to ask you real questions.
Nah. So, would you like to hear what Bragg would like to do?
I would.
Okay. First, Bragg will immediately begin de-prosecuting certain offenses, refusing to punish violations of duly enacted criminal laws. These include resisting arrest, trespassing, fare evasion, marijuana possession, driving with a suspended license, and any traffic violation. What's a fare evasion? Is that like
train fare?
Oh,
you hop the turnstile.
Okay. That seems like that's how you get, like, not all of these. I think marijuana possession should be decriminalized wholesale, like, duh. But resisting arrest and trespassing and fare evasion and driving with a suspended license and any traffic violation, those seem to me like they just want to play lazy with the city.
You know what the invariable result of doing that would be, though?
People don't respect the law at all whatsoever.
Okay, but fair enough. I mean,
if they're not arresting people for fare evasion, then no one's going to pay their train fare. Right?
No, I mean, there's a solid argument to be made for that. It's just not the one I had in mind.
If people are, not going to get ticketed or pursued for a traffic violation, what's to stop people from speeding or blowing stoplights and potentially killing others? Sorry, so you were going to make a point?
No, you were saying the article?
Oh, yeah, I can continue. Bragg announced plans to, so for those offenses that are to be prosecuted, Bragg announced plans to allow just about every offender to walk free the same day. Non-incarceration is the outcome for every case, except those with charges of homicide or death of a victim, a Class B violent felony in which a deadly weapon causes serious physical injury, or a felony sex offense. His campaign materials read, will offenders who shoot at people and miss, armed robbers who display a gun but don't fire, drug dealers and felons in possession of firearms all be released the same day they are arrested? It seems like that is the case. Even more alarming, he proposes virtually the same non-incarceration path for both bail and criminal convictions. Thus, these offenders will walk out of jail the same day they are arrested and apparently will never return. To top it all off, these detailed proposals with the usual progressive mantra of ending a mass incarceration, racial disparities, and police misconduct. He also pledges to hire, as a member of his senior staff, a public defender who will oversee implementation of new policies relating to declination and diversion alternatives to incarceration, reentry, and restorative justice. I mean, I'm all for revamping the justice system, but I don't think that revamping the justice system means to do away with all of its soul entirely. Like, you still want to prosecute people for breaking the law. You still want to get certain people off the streets for certain crimes. And some of the ways to do that rely on petty, stupid shit. I mean, Al Capone, right? Al Capone, very famous gangster. I'm pretty sure you've heard the name. But Al Capone was not taken off the streets because someone caught him committing murder, right? No, it was tax evasion.
Yeah.
They got Capone for tax evasion, not because he was the head of a mob and doing some other bullshitty shit. Come on, people. Like, the rules of justice are not perfect, but you can play by the rules, find loopholes to get the bad guys anyway. And if you minimize all of those loopholes, you are effectively crippling your ability to police effectively. Like, don't even address the fact that not arresting people for fare evasion results in people not paying their fares and thus a large portion of the city not getting funding, or like a large portion of the city's funding just going away completely. Don't even address that, right? That or traffic violations, you know. Don't even address the fact that blowing a stop, like having no incentive to stop at a stoplight, means that there are people who are probably going to get hit by cars and seriously, grievously bodily injured. Don't even think about that. Think about the fact that it's not just the thing that you suspect the person of having done that usually or always gets the person arrested, the bad guy arrested. Sometimes they screw up in a completely different way from what you're investigating. And that is how you get them. That is how you nab them. And that is how you get your foot in the door as a police officer, as a prosecutor. So say, I guess, you have a drug dealer that you want to bust, but you can't catch him. You know you have verifiable intel from people that tells you this is the guy, this is who's dealing, but you need to be able to catch him in the act. But he is super slippery. You can't search him willy-nilly. You need to have probable cause. Okay, well, say you pull him over for a traffic violation and you see that there are a number of traffic violations, so you execute a search of his vehicle because you smell marijuana or whatever. And you find like 2 kilos in his trunk. What I'm getting at here is sometimes big busts are the result of very small and petty violations of the law that lead to these big busts. And yes, sometimes officers get carried away with these notions, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes it gets bad people off the streets. That's all I'm saying. It's a domino effect.
I see your point.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying.
Glad I'm making sense. At least I think it made sense. It was just a little bit all over the place, I will say. I can't find that other article that you wanted to read.
That I wanted to read?
Well, that you were picking out, the white spite one. City principal conspired to oust Caucasian teachers. Or did you want to read that?
I just mentioned it because it caught my eye. It's a hell of a headline.
Well, that's what headlines are supposed to do, catch your eye.
I guess so.
Oh, hey, Holly. So
yes.
I said we were going to table this and then come back to it, and then I forgot, and now I'm remembering. But if you recall, you mentioned something about mushroom ketchup earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Do go into detail about this, please.
There isn't much detail to give. It's I'm a fan of a show called channel called The Townsends that focuses in on things colonial, but mostly colonial cooking and food stuffs from around that time. recipes and so forth. And I ended up going over to the Internet Archive and retrieving a bunch of cookbooks from that era, which were interesting reading in and of themselves. Well, not reading, but perusing. Anyway, one of the things that they mentioned in a really common, super fucking ultra common sauce at the time, and was in addition to a whole fuck ton of recipes in those cookbooks, was referred to as mushroom ketchup. What it is basically is a Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brown sauce that's thin like that, salty, savory, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And
so you say more of a gravy, or
well, again, thin like Worcester sauces,
Worcestershire,
that stuff.
Yeah.
And I the only way to describe its flavor is complex because it has so many ingredients in it. Onions, allspice, black peppers, black peppercorns, cayenne pepper. The list goes on and on and on. But the base for it is mushrooms, as opposed to tomatoes for tomato ketchup. And that's it.
Huh.
And I made it, and it was good.
It was good? Okay. It was good. Good to know.
Yeah, I've made it's about time to make another batch too. I've made 3 batches so far, and they were all quite good. And it's I have ran very low, and so it's time to make another batch.
Want to sneeze? No, I did not sneeze. Thank you, Serpent22, for the donation over on the Streamlabs. He says, I know what Polly is doing. He's making a new donation alert. A 3-frame gif of Clooney bobbing his head and asking for a little whiskey. Is that going to happen now?
No. Generally speaking, I like my fucking donation pop-ups to be entertaining and something I want to look at again and again.
Yeah, you don't want to look at George Clooney bobbing his head asking for a little whiskey.
Can I get a whiskey? A little whiskey? No, I don't. Maybe I could retool it. So little whiskey. And if I had any skills in animation, a man would come off from the side and like take him out of the chair with a baseball bat. That'd be nice.
You want to take out George Clooney with a baseball bat?
No, I don't want to do it. But let's just say
want to do it.
Yeah, let's just say it happened through no order or intention of my own.
Yes. Let's just say. And then also the next 6 minutes, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you. I feel so special. And I will say, since you brought it up by becoming a member, I will say you have a very special exclusive video waiting for you. If you venture over to the community tab, it's basically a house tour video exclusive to members and patrons only, with a little twist.
Oh my.
Yes. So go check it out if you feel so inclined. It was fun to film because I was drunk at the time. Running around my house and talking about all of the things inside of my house. And then the editing process. By some miracle, I finished editing that portion of the whole Thought Patrol saga that's coming out this week before everything got yeeted into the ether from my my formatting on my hard drives today. So luckily that didn't get yeeted. Luckily I finished it and uploaded it before everything happened. Otherwise that would have been lost to all time too. And I would have just been like, all right, I guess it's going to be another 2 weeks before this video gets out. But no, so luckily that got done. That's up. And part of that house tour video is going in the Thought Patrol video when I finish it. So that'll be out. I'm shooting the Thought Patrol. I'm shooting for to come out by Wednesday. That is the intention. That is my hope. And the reason why it's been again delayed is because I reformatted my entire hard drive and lost the whole thing. And then the power went out and I lost part of the editing, Well, the power went out, and so I lost part of the editing, and then I had to go back and re-edit some stuff, and then reformatting my hard drive yeeted the whole entire project. So I had to start from absolute zero, which is fine. Just fine. I have
It's
all the raw
fine.
materials.
It's fine, guys.
Fine. It's fine. I'm not super salty about it. Yes, I am.
No, I can tell.
It's fine. Because now I get to improve upon the audio quality all over again. Can you tell I'm a little bit salty about this? Just a little bit. I'm very salty about it.
What's happening?
I'm very salty about it.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a very horrible, no good, very bad day. Full of technological issues. On the plus side, I got my 7,000 steps in, and I've almost drank all 64 ounces of this water.
Boom.
Mm-hmm. Now they could just figure out how to open this coconut without breaking it. You see, I need it to retain the shape for another YouTube-related project that I'm doing, so...
Oh, that's what a clipping mask is for.
What? What?
What?
What?
I just discovered something about Photoshop I didn't know.
Can you hear the milk in here?
Oh, yeah, I totally can, actually. I told you. A fucking Phillips head screwdriver.
I know, but like... I'm scared.
Stab it with great intention.
With great intention. It's a circular object. You know what happens when you stab a circular object? You run the risk of stabbing yourself. Exactly. Yeah, you run the risk of stabbing yourself. And I don't want to do that again in the pursuit of YouTube lulz. It's happened before. Live, actually.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
As I once stabbed myself during a side quest episode. Not very hard. I didn't draw blood, but I did hit myself with the pointy end of a knife in the gut.
Have we actually been on for an hour and 10 minutes?
An hour and 16, actually.
Fuck.
Yeah. Would you like to call it at an hour and a half? Exactly?
Sure.
Because Mama Weeb's got to go bed by...
Excuse me.
I wake up at 4.
I'm not tired, though.
You're not tired, though?
No. You ignore my yawning.
Goes tight.
Yeah. Regardless of the fact that restorative justice even comes up in that particular police chief's platform is frightening. Restorative justice is nightmarish. It's a... I'm not even going to get into it. It makes CRT seem calm and inoffensive.
Critical race theory?
Yes.
Not the other CRT?
Cathode ray tubes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not that.
Oh, gotcha. Bad news. Wine opener does not work.
It didn't work? Okay.
It just rotating and rotating and rotating. Imperative suggests getting a vice. I would, but I don't have one. And the intention is not to crack it open. The intention is to keep its form for the video project.
Why not a power drill? Like a hand drill?
I think.
Two holes. One to drain, one for air.
I could poke it in one end and poke it in the other one and basically Eiffel Tower this bitch.
Or just two right beside each other in the top if you didn't want to.
I don't know. I haven't decided exactly how I want this to be formatted. But you will see the result of this if you watch Side Quest.
What do you want to do with, are you going to mix some drinks with the coconut milk?
I might, why the heck not? I'll make some drinks with the coconut milk. El Boyfriendo doesn't like coconuts, but I do. I think. I can make a pina colada, couldn't I?
Yeah.
That's also another question is how do I get the meat out too I need the hole to be big enough to hollow out the inside of the meat as well as.
Oh, damn, woman. You want the. Well, you're asking a lot.
Sorry?
Well, nah, but I mean, it would be like, how do I get all of the seeds out of a pomegranate and still leave the pomegranate intact? Like you're asking a lot, lady. You got a friend with a bandsaw?
My dad might have one, actually. Like, if I had to cut it in half completely and then glue it back together, that wouldn't be the end of the world. I want to avoid that if all possible. If I could just take, like, a nice chunk out of the back portion, wherever that is on this thing, I could just take out that slice and then hollow it out, drain it, put it back together, and then use it as intended.
So that's why I was thinking, like, you could just saw that fucker right in half with like a bandsaw, and then hollow out as much as you wanted, and then glue the two remaining halves back together. But that meat in there, the white stuff, like when you encounter it, like shaved coconut, what have you, it's been cooked. It's really hard in there, that white meat.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I don't think you're gonna and the husk of it, the shell of it, is connected directly to the meat and is quite thin. So there really isn't like it's not like a walnut where there's a distinct shell that you can take the nut out of and then put back together. It's not really like that.
oh, so you're saying I should dry the coconut meat instead? And just leave it
Just leave it.
like
Yeah.
coconut leather.
Yes, like coconut leather.
I like.
Personally, I would toss a bunch of salt in there just to expedite the drying, but
Naturally.
if you're not going to eat it, I don't know, salt
No.
a coconut a dish.
I don't have to eat it. That's not super important to me. The most important thing is that it retains its shape. So I got plans for this bad boy.
How much was that?
Like 99 cents.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I had someone else pick it out for me too, so I didn't exactly get the cream of the crop when I got it.
In moments of frustrated anger, have you contemplated cracking boyfriend over the back of the head with it?
You know, he didn't like the spaghetti I made today. I'm just.
It's just
Thank you, the next 6 minutes, for the donation over on the Streamlabs. I don't really have anything special to bring up apart from Godzilla. Singular Point is a decent anime you might want to check out. Also, cool grad photos, Weebs. Glad to see you had so much fun. You earned every bit of it. All the high fives. Sub to Weebo. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, I did post the graduation pictures.
Mhm.
Holly, I want to show you one.
Okay. You want to highlight a particular
photo that I took,
Okay.
or that was taken of me as I was graduating. Let me go to it. Here's my sexy Instagram over there. I think it was this collage. So there's me and a boyfriendo in the background.
Mhm.
There's me again. There's me again walking up to the stage. By the way, it was raining the whole time. So my hair was pristine despite the rain. I want to just make that point. And then that's me after I bumped fists with the new president of our school.
Nice.
On stage. That was the moment I wish to highlight.
Nice.
And then that's me and my dad hugging it out afterwards.
Oh.
You. I thought that was important. You can see his little knife there. His utility knife. As one should always carry around with them. But yeah, that was graduation. And then I guess I'll show this collage as well. There was an after grad photo shoot. Or after commencement, because technically we already graduated, but we didn't get the perks of commencement until like a year later. So I climbed on top of my school's big, entrance sign, and I was having some fun up there. Here you
sober
can see,
fun.
Yes, sober fun. Look at these freaking stiletto heels.
Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every woman that can tightrope walk, narrow spaces and stilettos.
It takes a very impressive woman.
You and Catwoman.
Yes, yes. There's me trying to get up. And there's me looking all adorable and shit. And that was all I wanted to talk about with that.
Congratulations, Weebo!
Yay! So that part of my life is over. Now I got to look at grad school options. Because believe it or not, my company actually,
Wait, what?
finances some of that. Grad school.
I thought you was on some.
I'm coming. Give me 5 minutes.
I was sitting there for like 7 minutes.
I thought that was the cat that was tapping. I'm sorry.
You would have been murdered.
I would have been murdered. He was tapping at the door, being all cute and shit. Sorry. So grad school.
Yeah, actually only 4.5 minutes. So yeah, it's fine. What was the cat tapping for?
No, El Boyfriendo was tapping because he's trying to tell me that it's time for bed.
4.5 minutes?
No, for like 7.5 minutes. He was just staring at me from the door, like the door entrance, and I didn't realize that he was staring at me because I thought it was the cat scratching at the door, and I'm like, where the fuck is the cat? I can't see the cat. It's not the cat. What's going on over there? And I keep hearing this tapping, and then I finally look, and I'm like, oh, there's my boyfriend. That's been going on for a while. Sorry, completely distracted me.
Zelthor brings up an animated Will Smith movie with a fish in it named Lola.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
I don't.
All right, I'll bring it up again. Right over here. So you ever see Shark Tales?
No.
Okay. Well, this is what the fish look like in Shark Tales. And this is what I look like with egregious sunburn. Remember when I went on vacation and my face blew up?
I do.
That was what people were likening it to in my family. And that's why that's on my Instagram. Corporate needs you to find the difference between this picture and this picture. Yep. Oh, and then there's also this picture too.
Oh.
Me with my sunburn.
Okay. I thought that was your MLP cosplay.
My Little Pony What about that looks like a pony to you?
I don't know. None of the things that the fucking My Little Pony people do look very much like ponies, in my opinion, but they do it.
Mm-hmm. And since we're on the Instagram, here's Bread Loaf Cat.
Do you think a comfortable enough spot was found?
Yes. But look at that death glare. Isn't that just... It could murder you.
The glare alone.
Mm-hmm. She's such a sassy little girl. Anyway, so Polly, we have like 2 minutes left. Is there anything that you would like to shill for the people?
Yes. Give me a quick second. Oh, look, Weebo Jones is streaming.
Hey, it's me and Polly.
Shooby-doo-bop,
Oh, you have Streamlabs, by the way.
I'm getting there.
Get there faster. Quit singing. I'm just kidding.
I'm singing while I'm doing it. Whistle while you're working all that. There it is.
I'll whistle while you work. How about that?
Cool.
Cuckoo. Spiffy.
All right.
All right.
Anything I'd like to recommend? Yes. Osara Recipes. This is one of my favorite YouTube channels for cooking. It's this fantastic old Italian guy from New Jersey who loves his food and loves cooking it and loves showing you all of his recipes. He's fucking fantastic. They are all classic Italian American cooking, meaning Napoletan. It's all Naples food because the majority of Italian American immigrants were from the south of Italy, and good because their food is good and Northern Italian cuisine sucks. It's just my opinion. So yeah, just lots of fucking great recipes, pretty straightforward and simple to make, and he's really fun to watch. So that's what I'm recommending. I mean, because you're not going to find anything that fun over on my channel. All you find over there is me complaining about stuff and AAA streams and noir bars and stuff. I mean, those are fun in their way, but you know, I wouldn't exactly call them edifying.
Edifying. Ooh, that's a toilet paper of the day word.
For a day. Donations. Okay, Dirty Mechanic from 2 days ago. Ouch. At first I thought you lived on Christmas Island. Now I know you don't, and that's good because no one I their right mind would live there.
No one in their right mind would.
Well, that's not what it says.
Because
Because no one in their right mind would live there. What do you mean? They got the fucking fabulous crab migrations, and the people of Flying Fish Cove are a small yet proud bunch. Did I ever tell you that the capital of Christmas Island is called Flying Fish Cove, but not really? It's actually just settlement.
Really?
Yeah. If you look it up on Google Maps, it's just called settlement. That's
how creative.
That's very insulting. You know what I mean? Like, you're so small. Fuck it, we ain't naming y'all. It's like, but we have a name. We've got a sign. Like when you're driving in town, it says Flying Fish Cove. Sure, it's hand painted, but what the fuck? So anyway, next 6 minutes. Thank you for the donation. Hey man, it would make my summer if you did a gun stream with me, man. That would be the most absolutely awesome thing. Weebo can tag along too if she's free. Good for you using the proper two, by the way. Half of YouTube does not understand the difference between two, and two.
It took me many years to learn that, to be fair.
It can be a little tricky at times, but it's definitely something you should know. In my opinion, think about it, Polly. It would be so badass. Also, sub to Polly, y'all. I will do a gun stream with you. I have no problem with that. That'll be fun. Serpent21, thank you for the $3. You could get a double malted 18-year-old whistle pig. Sounds better. Well, yeah. He could have named any number of things that would have, been better than just saying, give me whatever the fuck you got that you mix up with sweet fruit juice so no one will know what it tastes like. That's just how idiotic Clooney is. I have a Townsend's channel subscriber for years. Great content. Yes, it is. Yeah, if you haven't seen Townsend's, I guess that would be my second partial recommend. I'll recommend them next week. But this week it's Osara recipes. Weebo, what do you got? Oh, yeah. So what do I got that's actually got something to do with me? AAA stream tomorrow on Drunken Uncle's channel at 5:30 p.m. Eastern or 5:30 a.m. on Christmas Island, whichever one you like. Drunk will be there. I'll be there. Sinatra will be there. And bants and good times will be had by all. Yeah. So come join us for stories, rapid fire bants, and games. And then Wednesday, of course, is a AAA stream on my channel, which is the better version thereof because, awesome. And I get to host, and once again, rapid fire stories, bands, and games. Good times. And then Friday, it's over on Sinatra's channel. And I guess it's all right when it's over there. I don't know. I'm holding a grudge against Sinatra for streaming against us. We were here first,
We were.
I don't care if he's got 700 people watching live. With 1,700 people watching live. What's your point? What's your point, man? Ain't all about the numbers.
No, it's not.
Fuck. Because the people that are the coolest are here.
Yeah.
That's you, Chad.
Oh.
Well,
It's okay. I see. I know. I get it. So I guess I should show what it is that I'm going to do this week. I'm putting out a video on Wednesday.
She's got a hat on. You know why?
Because
she's working on a video topically connected all day long.
Exactly.
It's a good thing. She's working. It's not just a story. It's happening.
Yeah. Here's the proof. Here's the freaking proof.
Oh, Danny Fullman asked Polly, did you get that SIG back together? Yes, I did. I was just screwing up the order of operations in terms of reassembly.
Here's the proof. I did it.
Okay, you really do look like a cop stripper there.
Really?
I know people crack that joke, but like, and it's like, oh, as soon as a girl's in a cop uniform, she looks like a stripper. But you got your shirt wide open and a wife beater on and a big old titties and the chain and the glasses. It's like, yeah, you kind of look like a cop stripper.
I was going for like casual Friday copper person.
Well, I would make sure you include that reference there and not have any Marvin Gaye start playing near the beginning, and any sultry dancing would definitely be a mistake.
Hang on, I need to write this down. Marvin Gaye, sultry dancing near the beginning to improve.
To improve. No.
Now, which Marvin Gaye song are we selecting? Are we supposed to avoid? Sorry.
Let's Get It On is one of the quintessential stripper songs, which really shouldn't be a stripper song. If you listen to the lyrics, it's not about strippers at all, and it's not even about lust. It's a fuck. Anyway, I mean, it is about lust, but not in the way of like fuck some disease-ridden mom of 3 that's taking her clothes off to show her stretch marks for fucking ramen funds.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just demystify strippers? Sorry.
Yes, you did. Oh. I have all of the exhibits too. Look.
Oh, look at that! I love Weebo's attention to detail.
I know. The colors are exactly the colors that you get from like an actual Law and Order episode, and
the font is pretty goddamn close too. I mean,
exact same font.
Is it? Nice.
I went out of my way to look it up, and then of course we have the soundtrack underneath for that specific area. So
you got the doom doom thing working and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. So I have these pre-created in a sequence separate from the actual edit reel. Once I get this rendered and cut down, it's at 24 minutes. I'm 6 minutes into editing it down. Then I can add in all the bells and whistles and get everything squared away. But yeah, it's got the green screen. So I really went all out with this video because I was like, the people deserve the best. And get down from there. And I also brought in the actual Law and Order precinct.
Nice.
For the background. So that's going to be there. The thing about the background, though, is that sometimes it looks a little bit flickery with the green screen because I can't get a perfect green background due to the lighting constraints that I have. If I had the ability to, I would have some really good green screen game, but I don't. So, unfortunately, we have to do with what we got. Oh.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
We got Kitty in the background. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this fine evening and discussing with us all of the things in a completely random order. We deeply appreciate your presence and all that you do, all your likes, your comments, subscribes, your interaction with us, and just in general, the fact that you pay attention to us as well. We deeply appreciate that.
Does that cat's collar have a little blue bow on it?
Yes, it does.
It doesn't make her adorable because
I tried, okay? She got rid of the little bell, too. There was a bell attached, but she got rid of it. Are you still up there? Yeah, she is. If it wasn't for the audience, Polly and I would just be doing this on Discord for 2 hours or so.
Yep.
Like, it'd still be happening, but just not without an audience. Or just without an audience. Anyway, we'll be back here next week. Same time, same place, same otter, same face. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Weebo. That has been Polly. We have been Cops and Robbers this evening.
We have.
Mm-hmm. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone. Yay. Woo.